I like to play with perspective a lot. I'm obsessive over it. I often let my imagination run wild trying to perceive multiple things from multiple perspectives at once. And for instance, people walking by the windows, right? Looking in. I wonder what that might look like. You know what I mean? Here's some crazy guy yelling at you, and maybe he looks passionate enough to be worthy of an audience, or maybe he's just some sort of small-town soapbox dictator talking down to a seemingly subservient people, because after all, I'm up here and you're down there. But then I start to think about that too. I wonder what it might look like if you guys stood up.
Ooh.
Everybody stand up for a second. Everybody stand up for a second. Just a second. Look at that shift. Look at how that changes. Look at how someone can go from being in an assumed position of authority to being vastly outnumbered with his back against the wall. How interesting is that? Right? And then what comes to mind is one of my favorite quotes in history. Thomas Paine once said that it is the duty of a true patriot to protect his country from his government. We are working class America. We are the backbone of the greatest nation in the history of man. And yet we tolerate a leadership that refuses to acknowledge the will of the people. Now we've got fistfuls of misery, pistols and split skulls, insults to injury. Our history was bullshit. Blissful ignorance, simple synergy, so criminal. How this shit's pulled is a mystery. Actually it's not. Minimal imagery and tragedy, to casualties to plot. Actively it watches us. Integral to victory, the faculty was shocked. Went from miserable to sympathy, then rapidly it stopped. No coverage on the news, all this supplemental government. A fundamental covenant is troublesome to some, but for others not so cumbersome a punishment to come. It only proves just how trouble we've become. If the short of it's God failed, break ties and call it off, ordering cocktails. Make mine a Molotov. All is lost, I take it the lines have all been crossed, take your time. I'm just saving mine for the Holocaust. Co-conspirators, civil disobedience, shifted our focus here because the system's only lenience is living astray. It's our right to assemble, but our right to free speech was given away with a life on rental. Fight to keep peace from hitting the fray, you'll be the envy of kings. Any means justifies the end, but our legacy is everything. It must defy a trend, setting emptiness, a tendency we trust and try to mend, while never lending a thing. Anything so cut and dry will undermine again. By my calculation, amalgamation of my decisions, having palpitations, the validation of my existence sent me to sing. I've just never had the voice. Tried to reach you anyway, I've never had a choice. Till the populace acknowledges it's got no victims. What it's got is hostages with Stockholm Syndrome.